Hi guys, you're welcome to this interesting section where I'm going to teach you how to analyze stock, and I'm also going to show you another good stock that I am betting on big time in 2022. Yes, I received a message 2 days ago from one of my blog subscribers asking if Transcorp is a good buy and if I think this stock has a lot of potential and if they will deliver in 2022. And going by my analysis and how I pick stock, I think this is one stock that you should pay attention to. And this is one stock that I wouldn't want you to miss in 2022. And I'm going to back my analysis up with data and also interesting figures. Now, remember in my previous video where I mentioned three stocks you should buy in 2022. I talked about sectoral investing, how that investing based on sectoral events, economic trend, it's one of the best strategy to investing in Nigerian markets. So the NSE all share index right now is at the top of the market, just like you're seeing right now. And but I can tell you that it's not all the stock that are going to dip. That's certain. You can't have all the stock dip to the bottom. Majority of stock will go down, but some or few of them will still go up. If you check history, even when we had market dip like this from a high of 44,000 down to this point, you will notice that some stocks did deliver. So how do you separate the winner from the losers? That is a skill. That's an extraordinary skill a smart trader needs to have. That's the edge that I think I enjoy in this market. I don't just jump into a company because I think the price is going up. I like to look at sectors that are benefiting from economic trend. Then we now drill down. We call it top-down approach. You look at government policies, economic events, economic indicators, and then you then begin to drill down to sectors that will benefit from those policies. And in that sector, you also drill down to the companies, specific companies. That is how you pick good companies. So, irrespective of the market event or whatever happens to the index, you have positioned yourself in such a way that your portfolio will most likely go up because you're buying into companies that other investors are also investing in. Mind you, you are not the only person in this market. There are other investors, there are smarter investors, there are smarter portfolio managers, asset managers, and also analysts in this market, and they are going to do the same thing. So if you're able to follow their pattern, the way they think, you will most likely follow the money. You will most likely invest in sector that is attracting most funds. So let's look at one of the things that would shape economic happenings in 2022, and that is inflation. Inflation is going up. And inflation is not just limited to food. We're looking at other key areas. Now, a lot of us are already aware if you're using prepaid meter or either estimated billing, you would see that the cost of power has been trending higher. The cost of power, the cost of electricity, prepaid meter, a lot of my friends complain that they pay almost twice than what they actually pay in the last 1 year. Why? Because the cost of power has increased. So when prices of goods or when prices of services are going up, you need to ask yourself this question: who is benefiting from this increase in price? That is how to invest in the stock market. That is how to invest. Prices of food are going up. Who is benefiting from it? Spaghetti is already, I think, selling for 450 according to the data on Nairametrics. Who is benefiting from this increase? Electricity is going up. Who is benefiting from this? Transport is going up. Who is benefiting? Oil price is going up. Who is benefiting? Your ability to spot companies that are benefiting will most likely reveal the opportunities in the market, irrespective of whether we are in a bull or bear market. A bull or bear is a normal economic cycle, normal market cycle. We are either in a bull characterized by larger companies price going up, or a bear where we have larger companies price going up. But it doesn't mean that the market is not viable. It's your ability to be smart. So let's limit our conversation right now to Transcorp. Is Transcorp a good buy? Is Transcorp a stock that we should pay attention to in 2022? So I'm going to share interesting data to support my analysis of this company. So where do we start from? Let's start from the charts. Let's look at the chart of Transcorp. Now remember, there are four ways, there are four steps to analyze a company. We are only familiar with just one. Most of us are familiar with one and some two. But there are four steps to analyzing a company. In short, there are four secrets. First, or strategies or technique, whatever you call it. There's no secret in the market. So let's say four techniques. First one is fundamental, which you already know. Analyze financial statements, and that's all. Second one is technical, analyze charts. That's fine. The third one is, which a lot of people don't know because people are only limited to fundamental and technical. When you go on websites, you check newspaper, you buy trading books, they will only tell you fundamental and technical analysis. But the third one is sentiments, emotions, your ability to read the mind of investors towards that company will make a whole lot of difference. So sentiment analysis is important. Emotion, what is the investor's perception about this stock? If it's positive, price should go up. If it's negative, price should go down. It's as simple as that. There is no rocket science to analyzing sentiment. Just look at what the price performance is in the last 3 months. That tells you whether the stock is a good one or not. Sometimes you could even extend. So for me, my definition of sentiment basically is what's the price performance in the last 3 and 6 months. I want to make sure it outperform the market index. That's what the sentiment is. And if it's positive, perfect. Then the fourth one, which most people do not even know, they will get the first one right, get the second one, the third one, but they do not have the third one. That's what? Patience. People don't understand how to be patient in the market. They do not know how to be patient. They think patient is an abstract statement or patient is just an advice. No, patience itself is a strategy in the market. You need to exercise patience, and there is a step to be patient. Patience is 100% practical. Patience is not something you will sit down and say I am waiting. Patience is not waiting in the stock market. So it's not like the normal patient, oh, be patient, just wait. No, that is not how to be patient. Patience itself is a strategy, and I'm going to talk about patience in this market too. So the first one is fundamental. Second one is technical. Third one is sentiment. And the fourth one is patience. Now, if I want to start my analysis, this is how I do my analysis in sequence. I don't start my analysis with fundamental. No. Fundamental tells me what to buy. Fine. But what if I find what to buy, but that's not the right time to buy? So, which means that timing is very, very important in the stock market. You must master timing. What is timing? Knowing when to buy and when to sell. And you can only know when to buy and when to sell by analyzing the charts, by analyzing price actions in the market, which means that my analysis always starts with what? Technical. I don't start with fundamental, technical. So I want to know stocks that are right for entry right now, as in now that I'm talking. If I want to analyze a stock now, I'm looking for a company that it's ripe for entry right now or in less than 1 week. Number two, I would then ask myself, is it the right company to buy? So I want to know when to buy a company. I want to be sure that I'm entering a company that is right for entry. Then I'll now carry out further analysis to know if it has good fundamentals. Most people, in short, most stockbrokers will tell you go and buy this stock. Oh, revenue, very good, profit, EPS, fundamentals, valuations, model, whatever they want to tell you. But you do not know that there is a time in the market that our stock might not be perfect for entry. So they are analyzing that stock. They are telling you to buy when it's not really the right time, even though the fundamentals are okay. So what happened? By the time you jump on the company, price takes a move in the opposite direction. And what happened when price goes opposite direction? You lose, and because you did not do your research, you end up selling for loss. And if you want to exercise patience again, how long will it take for this company to recover? What if you are now buying at the top of the market? Imagine people that keyed into Transcorp when it was selling for 7 naira in 2014 because they thought Transcorp will rally higher to 10 naira. That's the problem. They do not understand timing in the market. Timing will help you buy at the bottom. I always talk, there is no video on stock market that you will not hear me mention buy at the bottom. buy at the bottom. Why? Because your downside risk is very, very low and upside potential is very high. Trading in the stock market is like offline trading. The same way you sell your smartphone, you sell fashion products, you sell laptop. How do you make money? You make money by buying low and sell high. That's the same way trading works. And if you want to buy low, you need to be sure that price is at the bottom of the market. So the question is, how do you then know when a stock is at the bottom of the market? You then need to employ what we call a higher time frame that will show you how the stock has fared in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You need to look at the stock from a long-term perspective. You need to be sure that this stock is emerging from a low price. So let's analyze Transcorp right now. Now, see how Transcorp has rallied significantly from this region up to this section. That is between 2012 to 2014. The stock moved from 68 kobo to over 6 naira. You can see this almost 500% return. From there, you see the big crash from 2014 down to 67 kobo. So, which means we now have a support right here. I think there was a previous support at this point. Now, look at how the stock recovered from 67 kobo back to 2 naira. That's between 2017 to 2018. And then notice the next crash again, back to the same level, which is support level. So this region is a very strong support level, which was attained in 2017. That's where the company stock price dipped to. And then you can see the stock find support in the same region. Remember, support is not an exact price. Anyone that tells you that support is an exact price, the person is not a professional. Nobody can time the exact price an asset will dip to before it recovers. You can only look at psychological level, but it's best to use it as a region. So I would rather say the support level of Transcorp is between 70 kobo and maybe 56, 57. So support is a range, resistance is a range. So we're looking at the level, it's a region right here. So you see how the stock dipped back to that same region, and from then you can see that it's gradually recovering. So Transcorp has been recovering from September, October, from a low of 68 kobo to 98 kobo. That's where it's currently selling for now. Now, you can see that the stock has an established support and resistance, a range right now. What's the range? Look at the previous high of 2 naira 42 kobo, and then look at the low, which is the support level. So this is like a resistance right now, support. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a stock that will likely trade within this range in the long term. So you see how the stock rallied to this point, pull back. So if the stock is to continue its rally again, one key resistance that is waiting is what? 2.4. 2.4. So between 2020, September 2020 and 2021, 2022, Transcorp should rally to 2.4 naira. That is my prediction, and I'm going to back it up now with fundamental. What I just share right now is technical analysis of Transcorp. Technical analysis of Transcorp based on this. And you can see that the price is trading above its 20 days average. Now, in the last 7 years, the price had been below. You can see here, right here, you can see how the price traded largely below 20 days. In short, the 20 days had acted as a resistance. And from 2017, the price broke that 20 days to reach all-time high. Sorry, let me say like a 2 years high of 2.42, and then from then it dipped back to that region. Right now you can see the stock just broke that same 20 days average at this point. You can see here, although the 20 days now should act as support going forward. So why do I think Transcorp will rally higher? What's the support behind it? What's the conviction? What's the fundamental conviction behind this rally? The first one that I'm going to mention right now is inflation, rising inflation. From a sectoral perspective, from economic perspective, sorry, from economic perspective, the price of electricity has been trending higher. And I'm going to show you how this price is impacting Transcorp fundamentals. How Transcorp is generating billions of naira from this sector. How Transcorp is benefiting from rising energy price. So when they say the price of power, electricity bills are actually going up, Transcorp is one company that is benefiting from that trend. And I will show you that shortly. Now, before we dive deeper into Transcorp revenue, let's look at what has happened between first quarter and third quarter. What's the performance of Transcorp like in the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter? And then we will then probe the major driver of that performance. We want to look at what actually contributed to the higher numbers in first quarter, what contributed to the higher numbers in second quarter, what also contributed to the higher number in third quarter, and what should we be expecting in fourth quarter and also 2022. So this is Transcorp. What's Transcorp business? That's the first thing. You can see on their website, power transmission, power generation. That's the first one. Then hospitality. That's the hotel business. You can see here, Transcorp Energy. And they are also expanding into other areas. So let's look at Transcorp performance in first quarter. Now, this is cable.ng. Now, the conglomerate, Transcorp is a conglomerate, we all know that. The conglomerate is picking up from a loss of revenue for the second year in 2020, closing the year with lowest turnover in 4 years, resulting in dropping and all that. So let's look at this. Okay, this Transcorp raises turnaround hope in Q1 2021. So this Q1 results. Now, the upturn in first quarter gives signal that management has overcome its challenges and that an upswing in earnings can be expected this year. Turnover grew by 59% or 9 billion in the first quarter to over 24 billion, with a further likely gain in momentum in the course of the year. It's expected that turnover could approach the previous high of 104 attained in 2018. In the last 4 5 years, the highest revenue Transcorp has generated so far is 104 billion. Note this, 104 billion. We will come back here again. Now, the revenue gain has reached profit capacity, which saw a big turnaround in the bottom line from less than 81 million in the first quarter of last year to over 2 billion at the end of March. Remember, from less than 81 million loss, you can see from a bottom of 81 million in the first quarter 2020, the company generated over 2 billion in March 2021. This figure is already more than 1.6 billion group pre-tax profit. So that is first quarter. Now let's move to second quarter. Now this is Transcorp reports 8 billion revenue in Q2, second quarter. Now what's the performance like right now? Now you can see revenue jumped from 4.7, this should be all in million, you can see. So 4.7 billion to 8.7 billion. 4.7 billion in June to 8.7 billion in June 2021. That second quarter, that represents 83.5% growth. Then profit before tax jumped by 97% from minus 3.6 billion. You can see that's a narrow down here. Profit for the year, profit after tax, jumped by 97% from a loss of minus 3.6 billion to minus 1111. Now, what does that mean? It means that they've been able to narrow their loss, reduce their loss significantly. When a company is loss making, an improvement in its results means that it's narrowing down its loss, which shows that it's on a path to generating profits. So this is the first quarter, second quarter results. Now let's look at the third quarter results. So which one is this? Okay, so let's take this out. So this is third quarter, which is the latest financials. Now look at this again. Revenue jumped by 115% from 6,700, that's 6.7 billion, to 14.6, 115, from 6.7 to 14 billion. Profit from a loss before tax of 5.6 billion to profit of 745. You can see here million. Then Profit for the year jumped by 113 from a loss. That means as at Q3 2020, the company reported a loss of 5.6 billion. And then Q3 2021, it's already jumped to profit. You can see here. So what does that mean? It means the company generated a profit of 742 million. So that's a jump by over 100%. So I just showed a summary of Transcorp results from Q1, Q2, and Q3. Then let's now go deeper into these results. So let's look at the Q1 result of Transcorp right now. So this is now the financial statement proper, where we are going to probe the major driver of that earning. That's what I want to show you right now. It's good you do your analysis like this so that you don't just take decision and think, oh, because the company just reported good numbers, you need to know where it's coming from. Now, when I do my research like this, I want to be sure that the company's revenue or profit is not driven by extraordinary activities. They are actually driven by core sales or revenue. And then I would then begin to ask, is there any indicator, economic indicator, that is responsible for these higher numbers? When you see something like, when you see a direct connection, you will most likely pick a stock that will spike. That's why I'm taking my time to analyze Transcorp like this. Okay, look at Q1 from 15.3 billion to 22.4 billion. Now let's look at the notes, which is note 19. Let's look at one factor. What are the revenue heads? Note 19. All right, this is note 19. So let me expand this. Okay, this is note 19. Now you can see the group derives the following type of revenue. Transcorp generates revenue from room, food and beverage, shop rental, other operating revenue, dividend income, capacity charge, energy cent, and auxiliary services. Now, the company generated revenue of 15.3 billion in 2020, and 2021 it jumped to 24.3. Now, look at each line item here. You can see room 2.6 to 2.5, marginal increase, fine. Food and beverage 1.1 to this. So this is like a dip from 1.1 to 1. So like it's an insignificant dip. Then shop rentals, you see 213 to 201, marginal dip too. You can see here. Now all this revenue that you see from rooms, food and beverage, shop rental, notice the lockdown in 2020. So it's like recovery. Do you understand? It's like a recovery from last year. Then operating revenue 172 to 188. Fine. Dividend income none. Now you see from here capacity charge 4.3 to 6.9. Interesting. That's over 50%, which is great. Now look at this part again. Energy sent out from the website. Can you see power generation, which means they generate power? So they are also going to generate revenue. This is one of the major revenue driver of Transcorp right now. So which is energy sent out that you're seeing right here from 6.9 to 13. 6.9 to 13. So of all this line item here, which of this line item do you think, which of them do you think contributed to the jump or to the higher revenue? Capacity charge and energy sent out. Note them. Capacity charge and energy sent out. Let's move to Q2. This is Q2 ending June. Note 19. Note 19. Now look at this again. 3 to 5 rooms rental. So it's coming from a low base figure. So that should also add to it because as at 2020, the capacity or the number of rooms that was sold out was actually low because of COVID restrictions and lockdown. So you can see the each figures. Let's go back to capacity charge. You can check other figures and see a bit of marginal increase, some dips and all that. Like this increase, this increase. Now look at capacity charge, 10.9 to 14.7. Look at energy sent out again from where 19.1 to 29. That's second quarter. 19.1 to 29 from power generation. Let's now move to third quarter, which is Q3. Q3 revenue went from 54.3 to 85. So let's go to note 19. Okay. Now you can see the increase in each of the line item. Look at the contribution of energy sent out, 29.8 in Q3 2020 to 46. So now I want to show you something. 46.4 divided by total revenue of 85.5. It means 54% of Transcorp revenue is coming from what? Energy sent out. 54%. So out of one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, out of 9 revenue heads, one is contributing 54%, which is huge. If you take out energy sent out, this is going to dip to 40 something. So if one line item in that revenue heads is contributing 54% of total revenue, then there is something you should watch out for in that revenue head. And that revenue head right now is energy sent out, which is from power, which is coming from what? Power generation. And what is happening in power sector? Electricity bills increasing, which is also adding to inflation woes that we're experiencing in Nigeria. So if electricity bill keeps going higher, you should see this figure trend up. So that is going to be positive for Transcorp. So you should expect Q4 revenue of Transcorp to also have energy sent out as one of the major driver of its Q4 revenue by the time the company reports 2021 figure. So energy sent out is a key line item to watch out for in Transcorp financials. You can see how it's contributing in third quarter. Energy contribution 29.7 divided by 53.2, 55%. In first quarter, we had energy sent out of 13.5. This 13, okay, 13.5 divided by 24.4. So you can see that over 50% of Transcorp revenue, they're actually coming from energy center. So when you are looking at Transcorp, don't look at Transcorp from the point of a company that is running hospitality. So when you hear Transcorp, the next thing that comes to your mind is Transcorp Hotel. You need to start looking at Transcorp as a company that is benefiting from electricity, increase in price of electricity. You can do your research, electricity price in Nigeria, how it has increased. You can even use your own self. If you use prepaid meter at home, you should look at it and compare how much you pay. What is the price like? So as electricity bill continue to increase higher, what should you expect? Transcorp is one company that is positioned to benefit from this trend. Now let's now look at the trend of Transcorp in the last 5 years. So we'll go to Capital Cube. This is Transcorp right now. So look at the revenue trend of last Transcorp. Remember what I shared with you earlier on as regards the 104 billion attained in 2018. This is the highest revenue it has generated in the last 5 years. But right now, which is, you can see this 104 billion in 2018. Now in 2019, it dipped from 104 to 76. So in 2018, this is 2018 here, you can see that contributed to the higher number. So this 104, which is the highest it has attained, was one of the reasons Transcorp rallied higher to almost 2.4, 2.5 in 2018. You can see how Transcorp rallied higher to. So in 2018, Transcorp sold as high as 2 naira 42 kobo. And again, in 2019, it dipped, so which also contributed to this fall you are seeing right now. Then in 2020, dip to 75, and then look at trailing 12 months, 130, 130, which is the highest. What is trailing 12 months? Trailing 12 months will give you an idea of where a company's result is going to. Last 4 quarter, that means the company is on track to beat its previous year, and not just to beat its previous year of 75, but also to beat the highest revenue attained in 2018. So if Transcorp reports fourth quarter revenue, we should see this 130 increase to 140 or 150 billion. So if Transcorp is reporting 150 billion as revenue in 2021, then we should see the stock price follow the same pattern back to 2.4, because right now revenue is sitting at its all-time high, above the 2018 high of 104. And if we also drill down to net income, you will see that the net income the company attained then was 20,000 US dollars. Sorry, 20, I think all in millions, sorry, 20 20 billion. So net income is now at 17. So it's already closed. So if the company reports 20 billion revenue, that should also support. You can even see the EPS right now. So the last highest price it attained was in 2018, and then the net income was 20.6 billion. Right now, you can see the company is on track to hit that highest level. So we should also be bullish for Transcorp stock in 2022. So that is why I said Transcorp is one company that may spike in 2022. Now, I do not want to be extremely bullish or too optimistic about the company stock. If I want to be realistic, I would look at the nearest average, which is this of one naira 72 kobo. So I'm looking at a stock that will likely move from 98 kobo to 1 naira 72 kobo if it continues to report impressive figure as it has started from first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. And remember, one of the major driver of Transcorp revenue is energy sent out, because it contributes over 50% of the company's revenue. So if power, energy sent out, electricity bills keeps going up, people are complaining, inflation is increasing, Transcorp is one of the stocks that will benefit from that sector, from this economic trend. So when you look at overall economy, always ask yourself which company or who are the companies benefiting from this trend. This is one question you need to ask yourself. So I've just taken my time to analyze this company. So from sentiment, you will see that Transcorp stock in the last this is December 1, 2, 3. So Transcorp opened in the last 3 months at 95 kobo, 6 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the last 6 months, the stock opened at 87 kobo. So from 87 to 98. So that's like 12%. So you can see how the company is rallying gradually from this bottom right here. So I am looking at a company that is heading to 1 naira 72 kobo. And after then, if it continues to report impressive figure, then we're looking at 2 naira 42. Remember, our stand, our conviction on this stock is one, higher inflation. And one of the key drivers of inflation right now is electricity bills. And Transcorp business, one of the revenue line in Transcorp financials is what? Energy sent out, which also contributes 54% of the company's revenue. So that is why I think Transcorp is one company you should buy before January 2022. So I hope I've been able to share a detailed analysis. Now, when you buy a stock like this, remember it's not going to hit 2 kobo overnight. That's where patience comes in. You just need to exercise patience in this market. If you have done your analysis, and then you've done your fundamental, technical, you've done your check, and you're buying to the company, as long as you're buying from the bottom, you can see a stock that is emerging from the bottom. You are not buying at the top. You are buying a stock that is emerging from the bottom. So if you have bought at the bottom, the next thing is what? Exercise patience. How do you exercise patience in the market? Number one, do not invest money that is meant for emergency. Don't invest money that you are not that you cannot keep in the bank for at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's one. You don't use your house rent to buy a stock, hoping that overnight the stock will go up. You can never be patient from that. That's very important. Number two, you need to accept the fact that the market only rewards those that buy low and sell high. The market will only reward those that buy low, sell high. And also make sure you hold your stock for at least 3, 6 months, because at the end of the day, what is going to drive this company's share price is the fundamentals. So we're looking ahead to Q4 results. Number one, we're looking forward to Q1 2022. We're looking forward to Q2 2022. If this result continues to beat previous year figures, then this should drive the share price to the upside. Remember, the sentiment on Transcorp is largely positive at this stage. So when you connect it to economic trends, you will see that this is one company that is going to benefit from the trend going forward. So that's why I have picked Transcorp as one of my heavy buy. Remember, again, the stock market only rewards those that buy and sell high. This is one of the premium stock I share with members of my private community. I think last month or last 2 months, we've been mopping Transcorp up at the lower end of the market. We are waiting, and if I've shared this on my platform, this should be an opportunity for you to also take advantage of this particular stock right now. You may not find Transcorp at the price less than 1 naira very, very soon. So this is my analysis on Transcorp. If you have any question, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. And also, I will appreciate if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I have already resolved that I will be churning out interesting content on this platform. So thank you.